Sausage.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Attack the Backlog, the podcast where I, Mark Kuznez, that's me, tries to make a dent in their backlog one game at a time. This is yet another episode, but the final episode about Golf Story, because I have finally finished it after 7 nights of streaming. That is 7 3-hour nights, give or take 10, 15 or so minutes for intros and outros. That's a lot of time. And my thoughts haven't really changed. If anything, they've just gotten worse and worse as time has passed. I talked about being done with it after the first week, but then feeling driven to complete it, to not let the game beat me, because I knew if I didn't continue streaming it, I wouldn't play it offline. Also, that whole "that's me" thing is, when people finally see an episode with that in it, I don't think they're going to like it, because it's real dumb. But let us just get into this episode, which should be relatively short, because I don't have too much new to talk about. But since I did play more and I finished it, I figured I should record an episode for this. So let us get this over and done with. First and foremost, I just want to say to the Golf Story fans, because there are clearly a lot of them, the game was critically well received, and I know a lot of people really enjoyed the game. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry you enjoyed it. I'm sorry for my feelings, and I encourage you to stop listening, because I have nothing nice to say about this game. I hate this game so much. It, more so than anything, overstays its welcome to an incredible degree. This game is way too long. If we just count up those hours, we say 21 hours for 3-hour streams, 7 3-hour streams, minus maybe 40 minutes, let's just say an hour for the progress I lost and had to redo. So we'll just say I lost 40 minutes and took 20 minutes to regain that progress. And then another hour for intros and outros, an hour and a half if we want to be extra generous. So 18 and a half to 19 hours. And you can also factor in the fact that I'm streaming it and wasn't feeling it, so there were times where I was just really focusing on chat. But if we even want to knock it down to 17 or even 16 hours, that's a lot of time, and a lot of time to put into this game that doesn't have a lot of variety to it. There's a lot of story, and keep in mind, all of this time I'm giving it and trying to knock down the length. After the halfway point, hour 9, let's say, I started skipping a lot of the story because I did not care about it. I didn't think it was funny or clever. I don't think the game understands golf to a very intimate degree. It knows it well enough to get the job done, to get what it's trying to put out there across, but I don't see a love for golf there. But again, I'm someone who is a casual golf person. I've watched many a tournament with my father over the years, probably upwards of 50 or more. I don't think I've cracked 100. He's definitely cracked 100 in his entire life. And I've played a round of golf here and there. And of course, my fair share of miniature golf, which I adore. Haven't played that in a while. My dad's never been a huge fan. He looks at miniature golf and thinks, why don't I just play real golf? Why waste my time here? And I think of it and I'm just like, it's fun. It's shorter. Don't you just like hanging out with me? Don't you just want to spend some time with me and play miniature golf? It's like, no, let's go play real golf. And then I get sad and rinse and repeat. But I do have a fondness for golf. And I have a great fondness for golf video games, starting all the way back to the NES golf game, which was just called Golf. That was one of the games I remember most. And it's funny too, because I don't remember it because of my father playing with me. I just remember myself playing it by myself. So I do love golf. And I was really excited to play this, but it just goes on. And maybe if the story grabbed me, it would have worked. But then, as bad as I think the story is, that's a bit of a stretch. That's a bit unkind. I don't think the story is bad. I just don't think it's good. And that's a difference. It's fine. It's passable. There's nothing cringy about it. I don't roll my eyes at it. And a handful of times, which is not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but there were a few times where I at least assume the sexual innuendos were meant to be there and not something I interpreted and wasn't there. The difference between implying and inferring, I don't know. But every now and again, there would be something about balls or something else juvenile that would get a chuckle out of me, not because it was some stupid juvenile joke, but they did a clever way of getting there. So I hope those were there on purpose. But the story overall didn't grab me. So the golf had to pull a lot of the weight. It had to pull the majority of the weight. And it just didn't. In part because the amount of golf you're playing in this game is very low. For the most part, you're doing a lot of dumb challenges. I talked about this in the last episode, but you're really just doing these challenges of hitting the ball in a certain target or the occasional race, and that gets really, really tiring. They at least do something kind of unique and cool and different much later in the game, where you're in this one clubhouse. I forget which one it was. It was the fancy one all the way north. And you have this mystery to solve, and it feels more like a classic, not point-and-click adventure, but an adventure game, where you have various tasks to complete. You have to figure out how to get out of here and what's going on. There's a person at the front desk who won't let you leave, so you have to find out what you need to get in order to get them to get out of the way so that you can leave. And that involves multiple different tasks. And you have to hide and listen to other people talk to get information, find clues. That was cool. And I liked it in theory, but I didn't like it at the time because I was already so burnt out on the game. But when I think back about all the things that I experienced in my playthrough, I think of that fondly just for its uniqueness in the overall picture. But the golf itself was not good. I thought it was very inconsistent with how things worked, varying on the lies and all of that stuff. And then, while the game as a whole was not super challenging, the final tournament was a bit of a annoying pain in the ass. I didn't like it. I wasn't sure I was going to actually complete it and finish the game because there was no way in hell I was going to continue on for another stream. I had about an hour and a half left in my stream, and I wasn't sure. I didn't even want to finish that stream because it was frustrating. I did manage to beat it. Hey, clappity clappity clap. But it wasn't satisfying, and I think that's a testament to just how negative my experience was, in that after going through all that and that final challenge, that final tournament, after being so frustrated, finally beating the game, completing it all, seeing all these various characters I've met along the way, being on top of the podium, all of that. It wasn't some kind of release where everything, although the weight of my dread released and I felt a small gust of positivity lift up my spirits. I just felt relieved to be done with the game and able to move on. I don't say this lightly, but I genuinely feel like Golf Story was a waste of my time. I feel like a waste of my time playing this game. I feel like my mental stubbornness made me waste even more time when I should have just dropped it after the first week, because completing it gave me nothing. I didn't get any achievements out of it. I didn't get trophies out of it. So what did I get? I got self achievement. I don't want that. I don't need any self achievements. Give me non-tangible but slightly more tangible achievements that I can at least look at and say, oh yeah, I did that. I only have the memory and the streams to say, oh yeah, I did that. It's a bummer, because when I was looking through all the games trying to figure out what I was going to play next, I saw Golf Story and I thought, man, I forgot all about this game. But I always heard so many great things. I like golf. The concept of it being this kind of RPG golf game sounds really cool. I think this could really work for me. And it didn't. And no one is more disappointed by that than me. But that's pretty much it. So that will do it for this episode of Attack the Backlog and the final episode of the Golf Story 3-part extravaganza. So as always, I am Mark Kuznez. Y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/PXS. There you can find a monthly Q&A, some fancy Discord roles, a private Discord channel, random drops here and there, and more. Or you can just support me if that is your fancy. That is, again, patreon.com/PXS. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, and so much more over at pxsausage.com. But that is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed this here episode, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. But for now, adios, arrivederci. Bye, bye.
It's go time. Go, Daddy. It's go time.